I'm going to talk about stacks in the context of computing. Stacks are a last in, first out data structure. Items are added and removed from the top of the stack. So this means that the last item added to the stack is the first item to be retrieved. Now, the easy way of thinking about this is if you imagine a stack of plates, if you put a plate on top and then you remove that plate, that's what we're really thinking about. So the last plate you put on top of the stack is the first plate that you retrieve from that stack. There are lots of applications of this. I'm just going to talk about two of these. One of them is function call management, where we use stacks to manage and deal with functions. And then secondly, we use stacks to evaluate expressions in reverse Polish notation by adding those operators and operands onto stacks and then popping them and evaluating those expressions. There are a variety of stack operations. The first one is push. That is where you add an element to the stack. Pop is the second one, where you remove an element from the stack. The third operation is peek. This is where you view the top element on a stack without removing it. And the fourth operation is empty. And what this does is it tests to see if the stack is empty or not and returns either true or false. What we're going to do now is show some example stack operations so that you can see how this works in practice. Again, we need to create an empty stack. We can think of a stack as a list or an array. We add an item to our stack using push. In this case, we're adding the item France to our stack. We're going to add a next item Venezuela, to our stack. Venezuela now is the item at the top of our stack. Next, we're adding the item China to our stack. So now China is the item that's at the top of our stack. Now popping removes items, so that removes the top item. So now we've removed China from our stack, and now Venezuela is once again at the top of our stack. If we peek, it will return us Venezuela because it's the value Venezuela that's at the top of our stack at the moment. Check to see if it's empty. Well, it has two items in the stack, so this is going to return false. We can continue to pop items, so now we're popping Venezuela. So now we are left with just a single item in our stack. Continue to pop. Now our stack is empty. All items have been removed. At this point, if we check to see if it's empty, it will return true.